The storm is here and no one is walking away clean. With just 2 episodes left, the Buccaneers isn't winding down, it's accelerating into complete chaos. Nan's world is shattering. The St. George family is tearing itself apart in a public courtroom battle, and secrets buried for years are clawing their way to the surface. Episode 7 isn't just another chapter, it's a full-on reckoning. And if you think you've seen emotional turmoil before, brace yourself, because what's coming next will leave fans speechless and the characters forever changed. As we head into Episode 7, titled All Rise. The mood surrounding the Buccaneers has shifted from lavish debutante glam to a courtroom powder keg, ready to explode. The setting moves sharply from English aristocratic halls to the cold, tension-filled legal corridors of New York, where the long-simmering St. George divorce takes center stage. But this isn't just a legal battle, it's a public execution of reputation, family, and everything that once seemed untouchable. The tension between Richard and Ginny St. George has been building all season. But in Episode 7, the gloves are off. This is not a simple matter of irreconcilable differences, this is scandal, betrayal, and raw emotional damage laid bare in front of high society and press alike. The stakes are painfully high. And what's on trial isn't just a marriage, it's the very foundation of power, pride, and appearance that the St. George name has been built upon. But as this courtroom drama plays out, the real story is happening just beyond the witness stand. Because while lawyers argue and reputations crumble, Nan finds herself on the edge of a different kind of discovery, one that could reshape everything she thought she knew about her past. Her identity, once firmly rooted in defiance and resilience, is now shaken by whispers of her birth mother's truth finally emerging. Who was she? Why was Nan kept in the dark? And more importantly, who has been hiding the answers all this time? With emotions stretched to their limits, Nan is forced to confront not only external chaos but internal conflict. The revelations coming her way aren't just inconvenient, they're devastating. For a woman who has built herself from the ashes of class rejection and social scandal, this truth could be the breaking point. And make no mistake, the writers are using every bit of this moment to elevate the stakes. Episode 7 doesn't just tease emotional wreckage, it delivers it. As the courtroom air grows heavier with each passing testimony, Nan's personal storm begins to mirror the legal war outside. These parallel narratives, each packed with betrayal, identity, and power struggles, weave into one emotionally explosive tapestry. But there's something deeper, more haunting, happening behind the scenes. The show has never shied away from layering its glossy period drama with the shadows of class, gender, and social expectation. In this episode, those shadows come roaring into the light. Ginny's role in the marriage, once viewed as passive, even complicities reframed her silence, her tears, her breakdowns. They are no longer signs of fragility. They're evidence of a woman who's been dismissed, ignored, and controlled in ways society politely pretended not to notice. And now, in front of that same society, she's pulling back the curtain and demanding to be heard. This moment, this trial, is more than just a plot device. It's a reckoning for the entire theme of the season. Power, control, liberation, none of it is clean. All of it comes with a cost. And the Buccaneers doesn't blink when it demands its characters pay in full. As Nan begins to chase the ghost of her mother's identity, the questions multiply. Why now? Who is leading her to this truth? Is she being manipulated, or is this the one honest thing she's ever been told? Trust is no longer a luxury any character can afford, and that includes the audience. Because just when you think you know where the story is going, the Buccaneers yanks the rug out and pulls you deeper into its maze of motives and lies. The beauty of this episode lies not just in what it reveals, but in how it forces characters and viewers to question everything that came before. Every smile, every secret glance, every passing comment from earlier in the season now feels like it could have been a clue. And suddenly, the story isn't just moving forward, it's turning in on itself, twisting past and present into one devastating spiral. And here's the scariest part, it's only going to get worse. We're heading straight into the eye of the storm, and there's no turning back. With one episode left after this, the pressure is suffocating. Will the St. George family survive the trial? Will Nan discover the full truth about her origins? Or are we watching everything unravel, piece by elegant piece? One thing is certain, Episode 7 isn't just a build-up to the finale, it is the breaking point. And nothing, absolutely nothing, will ever be the same after it. If Episode 7 has one unshakable message, it's this: no one escapes the consequences, not even the innocent. As the St. George divorce trial tears through New York's upper crust, reputations are sacrificed like pawns, and dignity becomes collateral damage. Every word in that courtroom is a loaded weapon, and every silence is even more dangerous. What started as a personal separation has become a public demolition of two lives, and it's not just Richard and Ginny on the line anymore. It's their families, their friends, and maybe, by extension, even Nan herself. Because the Buccaneers knows how to write pain and it's weaponizing it now. Ginny, once seen as the passive party, emerges with layers that no one expected. Her testimony isn't just heartbreaking, it's damning. The picture she paints of her marriage is one of control, emotional manipulation, and veiled cruelty. And whether or not every word is true, it resonates. You can feel the courtroom shifting. You can feel Richard unraveling. And that's exactly what makes this episode so terrifying. No one knows what's real anymore. Even Richard, with his wealth and charm, can't talk his way out of the rising tide. He's a man who built his name on reputation and perception, and now both are crumbling. And yet, there's something about his side of the story that feels too rehearsed, too polished. Is he defending himself or just trying to stay above water? The courtroom becomes a battleground of spin, half-truths, and venom. And everyone's wondering the same thing: where does the truth really live? But outside that suffocating courtroom, another kind of storm is brewing, and Nan is at the center of it. While legal documents and dramatic outbursts dominate one world, she's venturing into something far more dangerous: the mystery of her own origin. And it's not a gentle journey. It's a descent. She's receiving scraps of information of a mother she never knew, whispers of decisions that were made long before she could question them. And what she finds is not a fairy tale. It's not some grand, noble sacrifice. It's abandonment. It's shame. It's lies stacked upon lies, and, the worst part, the people she trusted most might have known all along. The woman who raised her, the families that welcomed her, the society that accepted her if only conditionally, and now Nan's identity, once so proudly defined by rebellion and independence, is spiraling. Who is she really? A lady by luck? A mistake swept under the rug? Or something else entirely? These questions aren't just haunting, they're destructive. They're cutting through her confidence like a blade. And just when she needs to be her strongest, she feels her most fragile. But the Buccaneers doesn't give her the luxury of slowing down. While her internal world is cracking, the external one is burning. Friendships are strained. Loyalties are breaking. Everyone seems to be choosing sides, but Nan's caught in the middle, with no clear path and no one she can truly lean on. The lines between ally and enemy blur fast in episode 7. And every familiar face carries the weight of a possible betrayal. And still, underneath it all, the specter of the finale looms. You can feel it in every scene, every whispered conversation, every lingering glance. There's no escaping it now. The show is gearing up for something big, something painful, something irreversible, and the characters are being pushed to their absolute limits before it arrives. It's here that the writing truly sharpens. Because this isn't melodrama, it's surgical. The show cuts straight into themes that many others wouldn't dare touch. How women survive in systems that were never built for them. How truth can be both weapon and shield. How identity, once questioned, can unravel everything a person thought they knew. In Nan's case, it's not just about discovering where she came from. It's about deciding who she wants to become in spite of it. And that's where episode 7 strikes hardest, not in the spectacle of courtroom theatrics or family betrayals, but in the quiet devastation of personal clarity. Nan is learning that the truth doesn't always set you free. Sometimes, it cages you. And you have to break your own way out. The show doesn't hand her answers easily. It makes her earn every revelation, every painful truth. And in doing so, it makes us, the audience, sit with her discomfort. We feel her betrayal. We see her isolation, and we begin to understand this isn't just the lead-up to a finale. This is the collapse. Everything is falling, and no one, not the rich, not the proud, not the clever, is immune. With only one episode left, the Buccaneers isn't interested in happy endings or neat resolutions. It's interested in reality. In the mess, in the scars we hide, and the lies we tell to survive. And episode 7. It's the mirror held up to every character, forcing them to see what they've become. Nan's journey is far from over, but the innocence is gone. The doubt has set in, and the truth. The truth is coming fast, and it's going to break everything. By the time we cross the halfway mark of episode 7, The Buccaneers has completely dismantled whatever illusions were left. Relationships that once appeared strong are crumbling under pressure. Allegiances that once felt unbreakable now hang by a thread. The veneer of privilege, beauty, and power that once defined this world has been stripped away. And what's left behind? Raw emotion, regret, and the terrifying realization that no one, not even the most poised and powerful, can escape the fallout. Nan is no longer the confident, defiant outsider, walking through high society with fire in her heart. She's been changed, not just by the scandal swirling around her, but by something deeper, something more personal. Her search for the truth about her mother hasn't just raised questions about her identity. It's forced her to re-examine every choice she's made, the relationships she trusted, the people she let in, the causes she fought for. Now, none of it feels solid. Everything feels like it could collapse with a single push. And that push might already be happening. What sets Episode 7 apart is how expertly it balances the personal and the political. Nan's story, though intimate and emotional, echoes themes, playing out on a larger scale. The courtroom battle between Richard and Ginny doesn't just affect them, it affects everyone. It's a domino effect. Friends are turning on each other. Secret conversations are taking place behind closed doors. Even the media begins to circle like vultures, feeding on the scandal. Hungry for blood. Characters who once had nothing to fear are now panicking. Reputation is currency in this world, and it's bleeding value fast. Ginny, who once seemed fragile and overshadowed, is suddenly the one holding power, but that power comes at a cost. She's being vilified by some, pitied by others, and questioned by all. Has she gone too far? Is she telling the whole truth? Or is this her final act of rebellion against a life she never wanted? And then there's Richard, desperate, unraveling, and losing control of the narrative. He once commanded every room he walked into. Now, he can barely command a sentence without it being picked apart. His allies are distancing themselves. His image is cracking. And with every revelation that comes out in court, he seems to shrink just a little more. But don't mistake that for weakness. Men like Richard don't go quietly. And the question now is, how far will he go to salvage what's left of his pride? In the middle of this chaos, Nan is forced to confront her role in all of it. She was never a passive observer. She's been a disruptor since the very beginning, but now, even she's starting to question whether her defiance did more harm than good. Did she push too hard? Did she trust the wrong people? Did she underestimate the cost of challenging the system? There's one sign, quiet, unassuming, that perfectly captures the tone of this episode. Nan stands alone, reading a letter. It's not dramatic, it's not loud, but it breaks her. And in that moment, we understand. Some truths don't need to be shouted to be devastating. Some truths are heavy enough to crush you in silence. And that's where the brilliance of Episode 7 lies. It's not just about explosive courtroom drama or shocking twists. It's about emotional erosion. It's about watching characters fall apart in real time, not through betrayal, but through realization. The realization that the world they built, the roles they played, the facades they maintained, they're all lies. And worse, they're lies they told themselves. As the episode progresses, we see characters scrambling to rewrite their stories. Some try to repair the damage. Others double down. And a few just disappear into the shadows, quietly accepting that their time in the light is over. But Nan isn't one of them. She might be broken. She might be shaken. But she's still standing. And even though the truth is tearing her apart, she refuses to let it define her. Not yet. There's a fire still burning in her. It's dimmer now, quieter, but it's there. And you can feel it building toward something, and then just when it feels like the episode might settle, might catch its breath, it doesn't. Instead, it drops the hammer. A final piece of evidence. A name that was never supposed to be spoken. A secret that connects Nan's past to someone currently in that courtroom. Suddenly, everything makes sense. And nothing makes sense. The web of lies is more tangled than anyone imagined. And the person Nan thought she could trust most, they've been lying to her from the very beginning. It's betrayal at its most intimate level, and it sets up the finale for something massive. Now, the stakes aren't just about justice or reputation, they're about identity, legacy, survival. And with one episode left, the Buccaneers is holding nothing back. The stage is set. The masks are off. The truth is out, and it's uglier than anyone expected. The Buccaneers Season 2, Episode 7, is not just a closing chapter. It's a detonation. What begins as courtroom tension and hidden truths spirals into full-scale emotional collapse. With Every character exposed, every alliance frayed, and every secret clawing its way into daylight. The question becomes painfully clear: who will survive this storm and who will be swallowed by it? For Nan, the fallout is personal. The mysterious thread connecting her to the St. George scandal has finally unraveled, and what lies at the end of it is worse than anything she imagined. The identity of her birth mother, long hidden under layers of silence and shame, is finally revealed. It's not a distant figure. It's someone in her life. Someone who smiled at her. Someone who shaped her world without ever telling her the truth. It's betrayal at its most surgical, and the emotional whiplash that follows isn't explosive, it's quiet, chilling. Nan doesn't scream, she doesn't rage, she simply stares empty, broken, because how do you even begin to confront a lie that big? A lie that defines your entire identity. And the betrayal doesn't stop there. The people who claimed to protect her, to care for her, were complicit. They knew. Maybe not everything, but enough. Enough to warn her. Enough to stop her from walking into the emotional ambush she just endured, but they said nothing. Out of fear, out of convenience, out of love, twisted into control. And now Nan isn't just questioning who she is, she's questioning who made her this way. Was her rebellion ever really her own? Was her strength forged or forced? Across town, the St. George divorce trial reaches its boiling point. What began as a legal battle has now become a societal earthquake. Testimonies that were meant to prove guilt end up exposing even darker secrets. Witnesses who were supposed to defend end up revealing new betrayals. And, in the end, the trial doesn't deliver justice, it delivers revelation. Ginny walks out of that courtroom, a different woman. Not necessarily victorious but transformed. Her pain, once silenced, has finally been heard. And Richard, he walks out diminished. Not by verdict, but by exposure. His power is gone. His image is in ruins. And worst of all, the people who once whispered his praises now cross the street to avoid his shadow. But here's where the Buccaneers does what it does best. It refuses to end cleanly. Just as the dust begins to settle, just as Nan begins to piece together the fragments of her reality, the show pulls the rug out again. A single letter, a new confession, a hidden motive, and suddenly, the story isn't over. Because the identity of Nan's birth mother isn't the final secret, it's the beginning of a deeper conspiracy. One that links not just Nan and the St. George family, but everyone in this tight-knit, crumbling aristocracy. A secret that's been protected for decades. A scandal that, if revealed, could bring down more than just reputations, it could destroy legacies. And that's when it hits you. The real power in this world doesn't lie in wealth or titles, it lies in control of truth. Who gets to tell it, who gets to bury it, and who's willing to burn it all down to finally be free of it? Nan, now standing on the edge of this revelation, has a choice to make. Walk away from the truth or expose it, no matter the cost. And, as the camera lingers on her, eyes hardened, voice silent, you know she's already made her decision. But the episode doesn't tell us what it is, because just as she opens her mouth to speak, the screen fades to black. Cliffhanger. No resolution, no closure, just questions. Heavy burning questions. What is the final truth Nan uncovered? Who else is involved? And what will she do with the information that could tear this entire world apart? This isn't just a cliffhanger, it's a declaration. The Buccaneers is done playing nice. It's done pretending to be a glossy period drama with scandal and charm. It's revealing its true nature now, a brutal exploration of identity, power, and what it costs to live outside the lines. As the credits roll, you're left breathless. Not because of the glamour, not because of the romance, but because everything you thought was true wasn't, and everything coming next promises to flip the entire story on its head. There's only one episode left. One final chapter. And if episode 7 taught us anything, it's that no one is safe. Not from the truth. Not from the fallout.